They say, hard work always pays off. But what if it doesn't? Meet Raghav, a simple farmer who defied fate with an unshakable belief. His secret? A lesson from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 47. But before we get to that, let's dive into his incredible story. The sun had barely risen over the small village of Sampur, painting the sky in hues of gold and orange. The air smelled of damp earth, and the sound of birds chirping mixed with the distant ringing of temple bells. In the middle of his farmland, Raghav stretched his arms and took a deep breath. He was a simple man with rough hands, kind eyes, and a heart full of gratitude. Every morning, he walked through his fields, checking the soil, humming an old folk tune. Today was no different. As he began plowing the land, a voice interrupted his rhythm. Raghav, what are you doing? It was Bola, his neighbor, also known as the village's biggest worrier. He was the kind of man who'd start sweating if the tea was too hot, fearing it might never cool down. Raghav wiped his forehead and smiled. What does it look like, Bola? I'm preparing the field. Bola frowned. But the monsoon has been weak. What if it doesn't rain? What if all your hard work is wasted? Raghav chuckled. And what if I grow the best crops this village has ever seen? Bola scratched his head, looking unconvinced. But what if it doesn't happen? Raghav shrugged. That's not my problem. Bola's eyes widened. Not your problem? You're the farmer. How is it not your problem? Raghav leaned on his plow, his smile never fading. My job is to sow the seeds, water them, and care for the land. Whether it rains or not, whether the crops grow or not, that is beyond my control. Bola threw his hands in the air. That makes no sense. What kind of farmer doesn't care about the harvest? Raghav laughed. The kind who knows that worrying about the result won't change it. And with that, he went back to work. Days turned into weeks. The sun burned hotter than usual. The villagers began to panic. The river shrank, and the clouds passed by without spilling a drop of rain. Many farmers abandoned their fields, accepting defeat before the battle had even begun. Bola, of course, was in full panic mode. We're doomed, Raghav. Doomed. Raghav, on the other hand, sat under a tree, sipping his tea. Bola gawked at him. How are you so calm? Raghav smiled. Tell me, Bola, have you ever seen a fruit tree worrying about whether people will eat its fruit? It just grows. I do the same. Bola opened his mouth, then closed it. He had no response to that. Months passed, and then something incredible happened. While the other farms remained barren, Raghav's fields began to turn green. His crops stood tall, strong, and healthy. The villagers gathered in shock. Bola stood there, mouth open, eyes wide. This is impossible. Raghav chuckled. No, my friend. This is the power of effort without attachment. Then he recited the words of Krishna to Arjuna from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 47.
Karmanye Vadhikaraste, phaleshu kadachana, karma phala heturbhur mate sangostva karmane.
You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to an action. Bola looked at him, stunned. You mean you followed that old shloka? Raghav nodded. Yes, Krishna already told us. Do your duty, but don't be attached to the results. Bola fell silent. He looked around at the thriving crops, then at the sky, as if expecting divine confirmation. Then, after a long pause, he turned to Raghav and said, Teach me your ways, O wise one. Raghav burst into laughter. Come on, Bola, let's go have some tea. Raghav's story spread through the village. People who once doubted him now understood the lesson. Worrying about results had never helped anyone. Only action did. And that, dear friends, is the secret to a peaceful life. In life, we often stress over things beyond our control. Exams, jobs, relationships, success. But the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 47, teaches us otherwise. Do your best. Give your 100%. But let go of the outcome. Because when you work with dedication, without fear or expectation, miracles happen. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita in story form. Let me know in the comments. What's one thing in life you've been overthinking about? And how will you apply this lesson? See you in the next story. Jai Shri Krishna.